When I say Mavericks on the, you say move. Mavericks on the move. Mavericks on the move. Thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome to Mavericks on the Move. My name is Jamilah Corbitt. I am the creator and host of Mavericks on the Move, where we bring together entrepreneurs and business professionals to create symbiotic partnerships. Today, we're talking about developing a winning mindset for success. Oh man, we got a treat for you. Stay tuned. To advertise a product or service on the show, visit mavericksonthemove.com/partner. My first guest is an expert at helping individuals create a winning mindset. Please help me welcome to the stage, Naheed Oberfeld.
Hi, Jamilah. First, I want to say thank you for having me. This is a real honor on my part.
Thank you so much for being here. I love what you do, and I'm really interested in learning more about what you do. And let's just jump right into it, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people want to know, what is EFT? Because that's what you do. You're a practitioner. But I think there's a lot of myths surrounding it, and it's a lot of gray area. So can you explain what exactly is it and the benefits of it?
So the first question I normally get is, EF what? What does that even stand for? What does that mean? It's a really good question and a good place to start. And the whole principle behind EFT is that we have these energy meridians that run through our body. And in areas that we feel blocked, sometimes really unconsciously actually, what we're doing is we're putting out a certain level of energy that keeps us from getting to that success that we want. I felt it when I was starting. I work with a lot of business owners, whether they be new or even seasoned business owners. We don't even realize how much of this is in our mindset and impacting us every single day.
And what is your role in helping others succeed in their goals?
Most people think that as a coach, I would be the one to give you the answers. If you talk to any coach, they'll tell you that's not the case. What we're really doing is helping people uncover the truth within themselves. So once you take away the filters of all those yeah buts, those fears, those doubts, those insecurities, trust me, you have the answer. So my role is really helping you uncover those doubts, and then you on your own, at the end of every session, you notice the difference and you're like, yeah, now I know what it is that I'm supposed to be doing. I always knew what I was supposed to be doing, but it was the fear and the doubt that kept me from actually actualizing it.
So do people come to you with a specific problem and say, hey, fix this for me, and then by the end of the session, is it fixed?
End of the session, not quite, because most people come to me with 20, 30, 40, maybe even 50 years of living with this problem.
Wow.
My oldest client was in her 80s. One of my more recent clients was in her 70s. So we're not just talking a few years, but the number one question after EFT, what is EFT, is how quickly will it be fixed? And I ask them, well, how long have you lived with this problem for? What does happen at the end of every session is that you've chipped away. If it's a big problem, if it's something that you've been dealing with for a long time, you chip away at it. And every session that you actually work on that energy, you allow something coming into you. So the way I describe the way I work is in a two-step process. It happens synchronistically and simultaneously, but the way I explain it makes it seem like it's step one and step two. But initially, we do EFT to find out what's that fear, what's that doubt, what's that insecurity. As soon as you remove that, I say that you've created a vacuum. Now you have to change, well, the thought has been changed, but now you have to invite in what it is that you do want to create in your life. So if there's no fear, then what is it that you really do want to get? And those are the two systems that I use. One is reducing the resistance that's inside of us. And then the second one is, now that I'm feeling good, empowered, and ready to take on the world, what do I want to create?
And that's very interesting that you say when people come to you, they come to you with decades and decades worth of programming. Mm-hmm. Because when we're born into the society, and immediately the programming starts. So at what age do we start developing those ideas of success and the success that we can possibly achieve in life?
There's no one answer to that. If you talk to researchers and scientists who are very left-brained, that's kind of where I came from. My undergraduate degree was biopsychology. So somebody with my background will say, starting from 2 to 6 years, that's when your brainwave activity is the same as what we get into when we're in deep meditation and hypnosis. So, for example, say you want to get over smoking and you go to a hypnotherapist and they've opened you up subconsciously, and so they're able to get that message inside of you. Well, that's how kids are between the ages of 2 to 6, almost 100% of the time.
Like a sponge.
Absolutely like a sponge. But the thing with kids is everything is binary. So if somebody gets upset with them, that means there's something wrong with me, which means I've done something wrong. And if I've done something wrong, it means I don't deserve something as a result. Success, more money, a good relationship. It really doesn't matter what it is. So everything for kids, as we pick up as kids, is I'm good, therefore I deserve, or I'm bad, and therefore I don't deserve. So that's the programming. You use the perfect word. That's the programming that we work through.
And what are the top 3 ingredients for success?
So step 1 is uncovering exactly what is going on in our subconscious. Everybody thinks they want to come to me for more money. Kind of going back to why do people come to me, right? You asked that question. They think they want to come for more money. But what they realize is once money starts coming in, they feel really uncomfortable. So we have to uncover what's that reason, because it goes back to I don't deserve in some fashion or the other. So what's that reason that you feel you don't deserve? So that's step 1. Step 2 is the release process, right? Now that you know what you know, let's start getting rid of that resistance, what the term that I use. Step 3 is actually the most difficult part, allowing it in. The work that I do has a lot of experiences with metaphysics as well. The principles are based on metaphysical understanding. So once you're in that space where you're feeling good, you're feeling positive and empowered, you allow synchronistic events to come into your life. And that's a tough one because it requires trust. Most of all, it requires trust in yourself. And guess what? We're not taught that on a regular basis.
No, we're not.
No.
We're always taught to question things, especially as entrepreneurs anyway. We're taught that we need to solve problems, so question everything. And so you're sitting here saying you need to allow a little bit more, right?
Yeah. So one of my clients that I worked with at an early stage, he keeps on questioning. And the same thing I keep telling him is what you're doing is you're setting up the energy of I don't know. I will never be clear. The answers are not there yet. Because he keeps saying, I'm always learning. I said, okay, that's great. But when are you going to arrive?
Wow. Wait, whoa. You just said something really powerful because I actually say that. Like I'm continuously learning through life. When do we arrive, or do we ever arrive, Naheed?
We don't arrive at a final destination. I will agree with you on that point. But if you are using my learning as an excuse to not allow success today, because, well, I don't know enough yet. In 5 years, I'll be more experienced. By then, I will be old enough, or people will think of me as being professional. So if you're using that as an excuse, then you're not going to get very far. As long as we're alive, we're going to learn. I like to use the word expand because that's, in my mind, a more realistic way of looking at it. It's just our horizons expand, and so we know more. So that's why I try to get people not to keep thinking that they're always learning and never arriving.
And what do you think about affirmations? Does affirmations help with that at all?
People have a love-hate relationship with affirmations.
They do.
And there's just one reason for it. If you have an affirmation that your subconscious does not buy into, guess what? It's not going to work. The best way to deal with affirmations is to come with it in steps. So say you want to go from here to $1 million company, right? But today, if you were to say that to yourself, there's a piece of you that's like, yeah, right, that's not going to happen. So the next step is I would say, okay, what feels comfortable, uncomfortably comfortable? Say a 6-figure business, right? Can we start over there? And then from there, we go even deeper and say, okay, what feels comfortable from there? Can we say something like, I'm not there today, but I am every single day getting there. Now, if that feels subconsciously comfortable, I would recommend that as an affirmation over some of the pie in the sky thoughts that people have, and your subconscious is like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
And as entrepreneurs, we're so engrossed in the daily, just thick of things of life and the stressors. So how can EFT benefit our lives, and how can we use that practice to enhance our mindset?
When you think about feeling overwhelmed, being stressed, feeling like you're pulled in 10 different directions, believe it or not, that's a coping mechanism. So it goes back to, when you're feeling empowered and when you are on fire, you do what you have to do and it doesn't feel like work. So how do you get to that place consistently? And the way you do it is through EFT, uncovering, again, what are those fears? What are those doubts? Because I work with a lot of clients who are financial planners who have to make phone calls, cold calling. Not too many people like them. But as soon as we have a session, they can't wait to start. In the past, it was, well, it's not enough time, feeling overwhelmed, or that people are going to not answer the phone. Once we get rid of all those yeah buts, then they're on fire.
And what are some of the common myths about EFT or law of attraction and other metaphysical practices?
Yeah, so most people say, hey, I've tried it and it doesn't work. Or worse yet, that's not real life. Come on now, go get a real job, right? Because they don't quite believe that just thinking about something in a positive way and then taking action. The action step is really important, right? But it's inspired action. That anything could be as easy as that, especially middle income people. We're used to slogging it. I used to work 80-hour weeks when I worked in my previous job. So I know about slogging and this idea that what you can actually get what you want by being inspired and passionate and stress-free. That's probably the biggest myth that I hear, is that most people don't think that this is actually true life.
They don't believe it.
They
and
won't.
That's that programming, right?
Yeah, and it's funny because they would rather believe that it's hard work than experiment. I don't want anybody to believe every word that I'm saying. What I want is people to experiment and try it. That's how I got into it. I certainly wasn't brought up with this philosophy.
So here's a scenario for you. Let's say, and maybe someone out here is going through this right now. My business is failing. I'm broke. My life is in shambles. My personal life is in shambles. What can I do to refocus my mindset? Because I believe that nothing is going right for me.
I get a lot of people in that place. In fact, people come to me when they feel like they have exhausted everything. But here's the key. You got to be open to it. Some people, even though it's really painful, they're not that open to change. They're resistant to change. And that can come only from you. So whether you hit rock bottom today or 1 year from now, I'm not so sure. But it's usually when we get to that pain where we've tried everything and something has to change. And trust me, I was in that situation as well. Then the first thing that I would recommend is to just start listing all your belief systems when it comes to success. Be honest with yourself. This is not going to be shared with anybody else. You have to be honest with yourself. So what are those belief systems that you picked up from the time that you were young? And I can guarantee you that when you finish that list, and if you're truly honest with yourself, what you're going to uncover are two things. One is self-worth issues and deservability issues. Because when it comes to success, at the end of the day, that's what you're going to find. You're going to find that either you say that rich people are somehow or the other undesirable, they have undesirable traits, so you block yourself that way, or I'm not good enough in some way, I am missing something important that would make me and put me in that category.
Wow, that's amazing. And how can people reach you to work with you or to follow you on social media?
Thanks for asking that question. So one of the things that I did want to offer is for anybody who actually sees this and through social media is I'm willing to give you an EFT session for free. That's my complimentary session. That's usually a $375 value that I offer, where we can do a consultation and EFT session so that you understand exactly what's going on inside of you.
Let's give Naheed a round of applause. If you're searching for a keynote speaker, panelist, workshop presenter, or host able to electrify audiences, Jamilah is the industry maverick you've been looking for. Visit JamilahCorbitt.com to learn more.
Towards the beginning of your talk, you used the term energy meridian. Could you explain what that is?
Sure. That's an ancient Chinese acupuncture principle philosophy that we have these really deep energy channels that run through our body. And according to the Chinese, this energy is what animates us. It's what gives us life. And what happens is every time we have a disempowering emotion inside of us, it acts like a pebble in a river. It blocks that flow. And when we talk about feeling emotionally inadequate in some way or feeling like a failure in some way, it's because that flow inside of us is being disrupted. And the solution then is to get back into that place of getting that flow in your body.
When we return, we'll hear from a life coach who's going to teach us the keys to living a holistic life. Stay tuned. Today's show is brought to you by I Am a Brand, empowering you with the simple systems and tools to connect your products and services to the people that need them the most. PMI Silver Spring Chapter, practitioners of impact and a safe community for learning, growing, and enabling your professional development. Transformation Center of Excellence, integrating the behavior and management sciences for people and organizations to guide their transformation journey. My next guest is a board-certified hypnotherapist and a master Reiki teacher. Please help me welcome to the stage, Stephanie Booker Atchison.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello.
It's such a pleasure having you on the stage.
Thank you for having me.
I knew when I first talked to you that I was like, I got to have her on this stage because your background is so diverse.
Yeah.
But I want you to walk us through the journey because a lot of people don't know all the weeds that you had to go through to get to where you. Yeah.
So centuries ago, I can honestly say last century, I was a corporate person, mid-level manager, and I realized that I didn't like myself. I always knew that I had issues of self-esteem and had problems with how I saw myself, but I didn't like myself. And I recognized that I wanted to one day maybe kind of sort of once in a while like me. You know how you can't look at yourself when you put your makeup on or brush your hair? That's how I was. And I didn't want to just survive. I didn't want to just exist. I wanted to live. I wanted to thrive. So I started to search spiritually and holistically. You know, I went out to different churches. I started doing different things, and I landed on meditation back in the mid-90s, and I started with a meditation site in Silver Spring, Maryland. And they gave wonderful classes where they would make you stare at a spot in the carpet for hours so that you could come to understand your own thoughts and how your mind will do anything it can to not stay still.
That takes a lot of discipline to stare at a dot on the floor for hours.
Well, you have to think about how the brain works. We keep forgetting what the brain is. And the brain is an organ, and its job is to think. So with meditation, it's not about not thinking. It's about directing the thoughts in a way. So after I sat through the meditation, I realized that I was not happy where I was. I could learn to be happier with me, and I could do the work. I could go through therapy. I could leave my husband, which I did. I could do a lot of things, but I wanted to live a happier, healthier, more me-centered life. So I started to look at how I was going to live afterwards, after corporate America. I started doing massage therapy. That took me to a holistic college in Arizona because I wanted to learn the mind-body connection. And I got a degree in transformational psychology and a minor in hypnosis along with spiritual coaching from this school because I believe that it's connected. How we think drives what we do. You know that most people don't know what they want?
Oh, I can believe it.
If you ask somebody, well, what do you want? Oh, whatever you want is fine. That is a general thing that we deal with on a regular basis.
I actually do say that a lot. Like, what do you want to eat? Oh, well, just whatever you want.
Right.
I'm fine.
Right. But if think about it from this perspective. If someone says to you, what do you want to eat? And you say, oh, I don't care. And then they say, oh, I want Italian.
I don't want Italian. That's what always
So
happens.
we know what it is we don't want. But most of the time we don't know what we do want. I wanted to know what I did want. I wanted to live my life the way I wanted to. And I wanted to appreciate everyone in it. And once I started working with the tools that hypnotherapy gave me, that life coaching gave me, that Reiki and meditation gave me, I started to leave other people alone and recognize that what you do is none of my business. And that only thing that I need to be concerned with is how right I can make this. Because if I make this right, then everything else is going to go well.
I totally agree with you. And let's jump to the hypnotherapy, because I gotta ask you. I gotta ask you. The movie Get Out.
Yes.
I love that movie,
yes.
But it kind of scares me in a way. So can you debunk some of the myths of hypnosis? Like, can you hypnotize me right now and make me bark like a dog? You know how they do?
Yes. If I were a street hypnotist,
okay,
I could. But I'm not trained as a street hypnotist. And there are some myths that I can debunk, but there's some new science that leaves us questioning some things that we thought we knew.
So the sunken place, is it real?
No.
Okay.
No one can. Now, there are some things that someone can do. One of the things that's highly questionable, and that's where the movie gets it from, is this myth that hypnotherapists and hypnotists have said for years that no one can make you do what you don't want to do. That's true. However, most people's belief system is widely varied, and we don't delve into what we don't quote unquote want to do by society standards. Unless it's highly objectionable to us, we may be open to things that we are not even aware of that we're open to. So while I can't supplant your personality and put somebody else in your place, I can put a suggestion in that is along with your moral code, but it's outside of the purview of your conscious understanding, your analytical thinking, your reasoning, because it doesn't make you unhappy. It doesn't hurt you, and it doesn't harm you. So your subconscious is okay with it.
And that was my next question. Can you shift someone's mindset? Let's say an entrepreneur, I gave this scenario in our last interview, an entrepreneur who's down on their luck and they're like, nothing is going right for me. Can we use hypnosis to shift that person's mindset?
We can. Let's talk a little bit about mindset first. The research around mindset started probably around 2004, 2006 with a psychologist who wanted to go further than just positive psychology. She wanted to find a way how we do that shift, what works for us, what doesn't. And she came back with two things. There are two different types of mind shifts. One is a fixed. That means that you think your intelligence, your skills, athletically, anything about you is fixed, that you are already talented and it's never going to change. Then there's the growth mindset. That mindset says if you learn, if you practice, if you prepare, you can increase your understanding, your abilities, your intellect. So what we have to do sometimes with people, and a lot of the clients I work with, we have to shift that mindset from a fixed place to a growth place. Because a lot of the times we're in a fixed mindset and we don't even know it. Doesn't necessarily mean that you think negatively, you just think limitedly as to what you can and can't do.
And I think now there's a culture shift where Eastern philosophy is showing up in Western business. Can you talk about that bridge that's happening right now?
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing to see, because you're seeing companies as large as Google and Microsoft started the trend back in last century when they opened up nap rooms. They started with nap rooms.
I do remember that.
Giving their employees nap breaks. And then they went to doing things like meditation rooms and yoga classes on site, because they recognized that when their employees were more relaxed and they had more clarity and more focus, they were more productive. So they're finding that the holistic side of medicines, acupuncture, massage, Reiki, meditation, these things are enhancing the well-being of their employees, thus bringing them more productive employees, thus raising profits at a very small cost.
And how can we deprogram our brain and replace that programming with new belief systems?
Well, one of the things that really has to happen is you have to want to. And it can't be because somebody else wants to. Like a lot of the people that will come to me because they have a fear or a phobia or smoking or drinking that they want to stop, they'll say, well, my wife wants me to stop. Or my kids think it would be a good idea if I didn't work as much. Well, that's good that you have that impetus in you to want to change. But is that change desire for you? Is that change for desire in you? Do you want to change? There's nothing wrong with not wanting to smoke, but you have to be honest about it, because if you're not, it's not going to work.
As an entrepreneur, if I wanted to come to you for a problem, to fix a problem, like let's say I'm not making enough money, I want to make more money. How can hypnotherapy help me? And how could you help me overcome that belief?
Well, most of the clients that I see in my hypno coaching practice come to me because they're interested in peak performance, or they want to increase their ability to be more productive, or confidence in how they deal with their customers or their fellow coworkers. So what we do is we get to where are they falling short. I had a client who his problem was he was overly anxious, and he had a problem with allowing himself to have time away from work. He thought if he worked more, he would be more productive. But what he was doing was he was bringing work home. He was never having any downtime. He wasn't giving himself an off button. And our brains and our bodies need off time. So what we did was we worked on carving out a schedule for him. And what he found was he was more productive in those hours during the day. He was also calmer with his subordinates when he talked to them. And he felt more comfortable with including more outings with his family and friends whenever he wanted to. So, you know, if you want to try and work through and have a balanced life, the process seems to, you know, it's not more, it's less.
That's interesting that you bring that up, because that was my next question is sometimes we get engrossed in the day-to-day stuff and we don't have a balanced life. So how can we achieve a balanced life? And is there such thing as a balanced life?
Yes, there is. It doesn't look the same for everybody. And that's where a lot of us get caught up, because we think it has to look a certain way. And it's very interesting that we're having this part of the discussion, because I've had a couple new clients come in, and that's what their problem is. They're stuck on the way things look. And because they're stuck on the way things look, they can't get past that to have what they could have. Life is not all one way. And why would I think I know what it looks like if I've never had it in the first place?
Oh, wow. That's deep right there. Because I've always struggled with balance, and I'm still trying to figure out what exactly that looks like in my own life.
Well, the first thing that I say to somebody who wants to have more balance in their life is to take stock of what their life is. You can't fix anything if you don't know what's there. You have to take a look and just have everything out there. How much time am I actually spending at work when I'm at work? How much time am I spending at work at home? And what am I trying to achieve? Am I trying to achieve a better relationship with my family? Am I trying to give myself more downtime for me? And what does downtime look like? Is it Hulu? Or is it going for a run or taking the kids to the park? What does it look like? Just the abstract is not going to give you an answer. You have to know what your goal is first. And then you can try and carve out your pie in different sizes to figure out what works for you. And there are three things that I usually do for somebody that's trying to achieve a better life-work balance. One, never be mad at yourself for the way that your life looks now. It looks like that now because it served a purpose. You brought it there. You did that. Be okay with it. Two, learn from your mistakes, or be willing to. If you're looking at your life and you don't like the way it looks now and you don't feel that it's balanced, where is it uncomfortable? Where is it wrong? What could you draw back on? Is it that you do want to get up earlier to go to work, but you don't know how you like getting up early in the morning? Then your problem isn't you trying to carve out more time for work. Your problem is you need motivation to get out of bed. And number three, it's a process. Relax and enjoy it. This is how we get to choose from life. It's a buffet. Figure out what pieces work for you and be okay with yourself if the stuff that somebody else works for them, it doesn't work for you.
And that leads me to my next question. You just great segues. What are the biggest psychological barriers you see in your practice that entrepreneurs face, and how can we overcome them?
Two big problems. And that's usually not just entrepreneurs. It's anyone that's trying to shift their mindset in life. Forgive yourself for your weaknesses. We have a really hard time being hard on ourselves. We think we should be one way, another way, a certain way. And a lot of the time that I spend in coaching is getting to exactly what someone thinks about themselves. Remember, I told you about my journey. And the reason why I know my journey so well is because I took that time to recognize how I felt about myself. Now, that was 20 plus years ago. I don't feel bad about it. But I had to figure that out to forgive myself for that. And the second thing is, enjoy the process. You are getting a chance to design the life you want, to look the way you want, to live the way you want. I mean, who doesn't like a buffet?
I love buffets. Don't put me in front of a buffet.
I'm just saying. Or, I mean, if you've ever gone out and had the size of, a shoe that you like, but it's in like 5 different colors, and you get to try on each color to see which one works for you.
I'll take them all.
But that whole process is what's fun. And that brings me to number 3, because that's automatic. If you forgive yourself for your weaknesses, relax and enjoy your process, you will have fun and be in love with yourself again.
I love it. You make me in love with myself just listening to you. How can people reach you to work with you or follow you and get more information?
I have a gift for anybody that's listening to the program.
We love
here.
gifts.
So if you say, I saw you on Mavericks on the Move, it's 10% off any session package. I already have a free 30-minute consultation, and I require that for every client. Doesn't matter if you're going to work with 1 session or 12. But you can find me on Instagram, on Facebook. On Instagram, I am Heartwise Mystic. On Facebook, I'm Heartwise Holistics, which is the name of my practice. And if you really want to learn more about me, what I do, or anything that I may do, retreats or workshops, go to my website, heartwiseholistics.com.
Let's give Stephanie a round of applause. Show the world you're a Maverick on the Move by grabbing your signature merch from our online store. Visit mavericksonthemove.com/shop to securely place your order. Worldwide shipping is available.
My question is, and you were talking about this before, the sunken place and get out. So practically, how does hypnotherapy work? Are you using a spoon? Are you flashing something in front of me? Is there a light? I mean, how does it actually work so that I can be receptive to what I'm asking you to help me with?
Okay. So we were joking earlier about the difference between street hypnotism and clinical hypnotism. And street hypnotists are the ones that they can touch somebody, jerk them, and suddenly they're in trance. What they're using is a trance state, which we all do all the time. We can do it ourselves. If you are engrossed in a book, or if you're engrossed in the movie and somebody turns on a light and it startles you, you were in a trance. I'm sure there's at least one person here who has gotten in their car to drive to their office and ended up either at their son's school or the grocery store, and they do not know how they got there. That's because you put yourself in a trance. And the trance state is when your analytical thinking has been put to the side, that's your conscious mind, and your subconscious that knows your automatic reflexes and responses and is in control. What you do is you help the trance state to introduce suggestions to help you change your mind. So that's how it worked. That's what they were trying to get to with that quote unquote sunken place and changing personality. But it really is mostly about you changing your mind about how you feel about something. Once you change your mind about how you feel about something in your subconscious, you'll change your actions. And if you change your actions, you can change your beliefs about it.
When we return, we'll hear from business owners in the audience. Stay tuned. Visit MavericksOnTheMove.com to catch up on the latest episodes, stay up to date, browse pictures from past events, and to grab your signature merch.
Hello, my name is Danielle Ellington. I am a professional certified boudoir photographer. You can reach me at info@IamWhatIamImages.com. My website is IamWhatIamImages.com.
And that's today's show. Thank you so much for watching. If you're catching this on YouTube, don't forget to give this a thumbs up, share it out, and subscribe to the channel. Remember, each one teach one, each one reach one. Okay, that's too much. That's too much laughing. I'm sorry. You got it. That was too much laughing. When we return, we'll hear. Is it? I'm sorry. We gotta do it again. You gotta hold it. Yeah.
Is this better?
Yeah, like it like this.
This one?
We gotta do it again. We gotta do it again. Yeah. Okay.
Hard stop.
Hard stop. Sorry, y'all. Yeah. And that's today's show. Thank you so much for watching. If you're catching this at. And that's today's show. Thank you so.
Relax.
I am. I just want to get through it.
Just relax.
Where was that clap during the whole show? Y'all were saving it for the end.
So I'm a young entrepreneur, and I'm always looking for events in my area to help me grow in my field. And I came upon Jamilah and her event, Mavericks On The Move, and I was like, I need to be there. So I literally hopped on a Lime scooter. Scooter got lost for 20 minutes, but I made it, and it was so well worth my time. I encourage anybody that is even thinking to start a business, get in touch with Jamilah. She is the girl.
So I'll definitely be back, and I'm looking forward to seeing who she has next on the couch.